So look at the man some of our nation's leaders are calling a domestic terrorist and the woman that he killed.
Another day of sunshine for your Sunday, but I will let you know when it's going to start to cool on down.
And surf's up in La Jolla this morning. The world's biggest name surfers are hitting the waves to help fight cancer. 10 News This Morning starts right now.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Good Sunday morning to you. I'm Mary McKenzie. We're glad you're here.
Good morning to you as well. I'm Jim Patton. Let's get started with Melissa Messia. And how are we looking today with the weather?
You know, morning clouds, and we're going to get some sun. So a mix of sun and clouds to start you off with. Can't believe we are almost halfway through the month of August. This is a live look here at Del Mar, where you could see here some of those overcast skies for your Sunday morning. Now we are a bit cooler today than we were this time yesterday, about 5 degrees cooler in Ramona, same thing in Alpine. Right now our current conditions, using our downtown sky cam, you can see those cloudy skies, 68 degrees. The winds right now are calm. The sun going to set at 7:35 tonight. Now helping you plan for your day, we're taking a look at our coast planner. So it will be nice by our lunch hour, 76 degrees, not a bad day to get outdoors. Our high will be in the upper 70s. Our inland communities, of course, much warmer in the 80s by about noon, 83 degrees with a high of about 86. When I come back, we'll take a look at your 7-day.
We continue to follow the day of death, as some are calling it, in Charlottesville, Virginia. Chaos in the streets after a car plowed through hundreds of people there to face down white supremacists and neo-Nazis who were there for a rally Saturday. That suspected driver killing one person and injuring 19 others, some of them critically. We now know that the suspected driver, you see him right here in the corner of this picture on Daily Mail's website. This is James Alex Fields. And he is behind, they believe, what some of our nation's leaders are calling an act of domestic terrorism. We start this morning's coverage with ABC's Eva Pilgrim. She's in Charlottesville.
Panic and chaos, a car plowing through a crowd of people protesting against a white nationalist rally in Charlottesville. Go, 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 go! This morning, the suspected driver, 20-year-old James Alex Fields Jr., is behind bars. Authorities say Fields, a registered Republican, lives in Maumee, Ohio, almost 8.5 hours away. His mother telling the AP she knew her son was traveling to Virginia for a rally.
I didn't know it was white supremacists. I thought it had something to do with Trump. Trump's not a supremacist.
This video showing Fields under arrest shortly after the crash. It happened just before 2 p.m. Counter-protesters marching through downtown sent scrambling.
A car just plowed through hundreds of people downtown Charlottesville.
Here you can see the silver 2010 Dodge Challenger barreling down the hill toward a sea of targets with little time to react, slamming to a stop only after it hit a van and another car. Blocked in, that car shifting in reverse, screeching back down the street to get away.
Shoes all over the ground, pools of blood all over the ground, people screaming.
One person, a 32-year-old woman, left dead. 19 more rushed to the hospital, 5 in critical condition.
I can tell you that the injuries are ranging from life-threatening to minor at this point.
The destructive aftermath on the street, leaving bystanders searching for their loved ones.
I need my sister!
Others jumping in, carrying those hurt in the collision, desperately searching for help. This following nearly 24 hours of unrest.
White lives matter! White lives matter!
White nationalists stormed the University of Virginia's campus Friday night, protesting plans to remove a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee.
Blood and soil! Blood and soil!
The violence only escalating Saturday, chaos in the streets as demonstrators clashed with counter-protesters. The governor declaring a state of emergency.
There is fighting happening in the streets.
Police using pepper spray. Then the situation taking that deadly turn.
You're still shaking.
I am coming down. I saw the car coming down the hill, throwing bodies over top of it until the car cleared and saw the smashed windshield. That's going to stay with me for a while.
We also know that 2 Virginia state troopers were killed on Saturday. The helicopter they were riding in on their way to assist with those protests, it crashed in Charlottesville. Coming up in our next half hour, we'll have a little bit more about the 2 men and how many people have already started to remember and honor them. Melissa?
And Mary, let's go back to the victim here. A picture of the woman killed in the Charlottesville protest. Several media reports saying this is Heather Heyer. She was a paralegal from Virginia and she was only 32 years old. This is the picture here, a new picture of the man accused of killing her by ramming his car into a crowd of counter-protesters. The man right in the middle. The New York Daily News says this is James Alex Fields Jr., the suspected driver at the rally before the incident. Now, the shield that he was holding indicates he was part of Vanguard America, a white nationalist group. However, the group posted this statement on their Twitter account saying that the driver was in no way a member. All the members had been safely evacuated, and that the shields seen do not denote membership, nor does the white shirt. A lot happening here, of course, something we'll continue to watch. Jim?
Mel, thank you. Our team coverage continues with a group of San Diegans who organized a vigil to show their support for the victims of Charlottesville. 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo was there in El Cajon, where organizers gathered in solidarity at the spot where Alfred Alongo was killed last year.
We will not stand for this. We will not stand for KKK, for Nazis to overrun us. Members of the left peacefully protesting were murdered today by white supremacists.
Yesenia Padilla watched the images from Charlottesville, Virginia in shock.
We're aware of what's going on there and we won't have it. So it's important to build that group solidarity.
Seeing the video from the white supremacist rally moved her so much, she got together with the industrial workers of the world for a vigil in El Cajon to honor the victims killed.
And it's chilling, it's terrifying. And when I saw that video, I felt deeply impacted by it, and I knew we had to do something.
A few dozen people showed up to the parking lot where Alfred Alongo was killed by police last year. Yesenia and a few others spoke to the crowd.
We stand firmly as an organization here in San Diego.
The speakers called for unity. They say they will not accept what happened today.
Freedom of speech is one thing, but I think violence and hate speech, which are not protected, are a very different thing.
Padilla remains positive. She thinks tonight's vigil sends a strong message.
It gives me a lot of hope. It makes me feel galvanized. It makes me feel like together we can make a difference.
Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
Another unity vigil for the victims of the Charlottesville attack will be held tonight at 8 o'clock outside of the County Administration Building. That is on Pacific Highway along the Embarcadero. Breaking news this morning, 2 American soldiers have been killed, 5 others wounded while conducting combat operations in northern Iraq. That word coming from the U.S. Central Command, which says the death and injuries were not the result of enemy contact, but no other details have been provided. Those men have not been identified. U.S. troops were providing support to Iraqi troops in the battle against ISIS. A driver leads police on a dangerous chase that ended in a crash at an elementary school. Police in City Heights say the man was driving a truck connected to a shooting from a few weeks ago. When they tried to pull him over yesterday, he took off. He led them on a chase and then drove through the school, damaging fences on either side. He crashed into a nearby fire station and got stuck. Police arrested him when he got out of the car with a gun. They haven't told us which shooting this is connected to. China reaching out to both the U.S. and North Korea today, urging restraint from both sides, saying the issue of nuclear weapons needs a peaceful resolution. In a telephone call Saturday, President Xi told President Trump it was the mutual best interest to remove nuclear weapons from the Korean Peninsula. This as North Korea issues a statement saying if the Trump administration does not want the American empire to meet its tragic doom, they had better talk and act properly. Trump and North Korea have been going back and forth following North Korea's threat to hit Guam with a missile strike.
If he goes offshore and demonstrates that he can ring that island with those 4 missiles, he will have demonstrated the next step in a nuclear capability, and that is accuracy and would be a very, very disturbing indication.
American allies, including Japan, South Korea, and Australia, have also vowed support. Well, meantime, Anthony Scaramucci going on camera for the first time since he was fired as the White House communications director. He spent just 11 days at the White House under the Trump administration. He's sitting down with ABC's George Stephanopoulos in a one-on-one interview tonight to talk about his whirlwind in Washington.
Gas prices, they are continuing to go up. The average cost now of a gallon of regular in San Diego County is over $2.97, according to AAA. It went up a half a cent Friday night, and it's now 1.2 cents higher than a week ago, 8 cents higher than a month ago, and nearly 30 cents higher than a year ago. And you can always find the cheapest gas prices on 10news.com under the traffic menu. Happening right now, surf is up in La Jolla this morning. Dozens of folks are hitting the waves for the annual Luau and Legends surf competition.
10 News reporter Jessica Chen live at La Jolla. Jessica, some big names coming out today.
That's right, big names including Bob Hurley and Taylor Knox. And if you look behind me, you can see the beach here is crowded. The event officially underway. It kicked off about an hour ago and it's going to last for about 3 hours until about 11. You can see if you pan over to the water, lots of surfers actually in the water. But I want to pull up some video to give you guys a closer look from today's annual Luau and Legends event. It is now in its 24th year, and the goal of this event is to raise money to support cancer research and improve patient care. The money will also go towards funding clinical trials at UC San Diego Health. Organizers tell me since this annual event started, $8 million has been raised to go towards the Moores Cancer Center. During the surfing portion of the event, which happens this morning, teams are paired with surfing legends. People can come watch on the beach near Scripps Pier in La Jolla, and today's event will also honor Dr. John Mendelson. He's the founding director of the Moores Cancer Center. Now back out here live, the surfing portion now underway. People down there judging the surfers who are out competing, and this is going to go on until around 11 a.m. today. Reporting in La Jolla, Jessica Chen, 10 News.
Weather Rate Certified San Diego's most accurate forecast. This is 10 News Pinpoint Weather. For great rates and a better banking experience, visit missionfed.com today.
Mel's going to be here in a moment, but she was telling us the wave's not that big, like 2 feet maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's otherwise a good day to go surfing. Is there ever a bad day to go surfing?
Not as far as surfers are concerned.
Yeah, some of the legends may be underwhelmed by today's surf, I guess, though, Mel.
Yeah, and if you're a bad surfer like myself, then it's never really a good day to go surfing.
These are my kind of waves.
Exactly, but it is a good day to go to the beach because we are going to get lots of sunshine. It's going to be comfortable though. We have that morning cloud cover. Let me go ahead right now, take you outside here at 8:09 in the morning. I was updating that banner. This is not Del Mar. This is actually Julian, where you can see lots of sunshine there already, but we are still dealing with some of that cloud cover along the coast. Our satellite radar here showing you that we are going to get better clearing though once we get closer to our lunch hour. Our visibility map, we have been watching that. So it was down to about 0 earlier in Ramona. It has improved now to 4. Along the coast, we're not dealing with visibility issues if you are getting ready to head on out for a drive. Right now, our current conditions, we are 64 in Poway, 70 in Kearney Mesa, Campo, you are at 70, and Borrego Springs, 87 degrees. So we do have a low pressure system here off the west coast, and that onshore flow that is keeping things drier than what we have seen. So that humidity that we have been feeling, we're not going to feel it today. So today will be fairly comfortable with 70s here along the coast. Oceanside 79. It is still going to be pretty warm though inland, about 86 in Escondido, 86 in Poway. Chula Vista a bit cooler than that. You are going to be at 80, but lots of sunshine there in our inland communities, even more in our deserts. Taking a look here at our 7-day forecast along the coast, we are going to be starting off with those morning clouds, that patchy fog, and then we're going to see a bit of a cool down over the next few days. So you can see here in our inland areas, we drop by about 5 degrees come Tuesday. Overnight lows there in the 60s. And then our mountain areas, it cools on down. We are watching for some of those gusty winds, and in the deserts, finally seeing not triple digits, but double digits in the next couple days. Of course, plenty of sunshine there, though, across the board.
It's going to feel a lot more comfortable without the
It
humidity.
is, yeah, especially compared to what we have been seeing. So the next couple days, enjoy it, because then it's going to start to go back up again.
Oh, no. All right, we're on the roller coaster for the long haul. Thanks, Mel.